Hey there guys, what's going on? Stupid bad intro here. And I'm here to talk about something I didn't cover in the last episode of Hello World. And that was maintaining Windows. I showed you guys how to upgrade Windows in different ways, or how to augment Windows in different ways. I say make it better, you may not. Anyway, I showed you a few programs you can use to change Windows. But I didn't show you guys anything when it comes to how to maintain a Windows installation that already exists on a system. Just sort of things you can do to make it better as far as usage, but nothing when it comes to maintenance. So that's what this video is today. So if you don't want another Windows video, sorry, I'm lazy and this is what I got today. So hey, Windows, again, let's get right into it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so we're back at my desktop again. And I'm just going to quickly show you guys some tools you can grab to maintain your PC. Now, a lot of these are actually going to be built right in. So there's Disk Cleanup. Disk Cleanup is a utility you should definitely use on a first time upgrading to Windows 10. So if you've ever upgraded to Windows 10, not installed, not got from the factory, but upgraded to Windows 10 from a previous operating system, run Disk Cleanup. And don't just run Disk Cleanup. So you'll run it like this the first time. It's going to do a scan, which is going to take fucking forever for no good reason. And then it's going to give you this window. But notice this, clean up system files. Clean up system files. Click that. It'll re-prompt you with this select the drive. Then you're going to do it again. And it's going to be super annoying, but do it. When you have upgraded Windows, it's going to make a Windows.old folder. Here, it will be right, well, depending on how you have your sorting, but it should be either above or below your Windows folder. It'll be Windows.old, and it's going to be consuming probably about 30 or 40 gigs of your hard drive for no reason. If you've upgraded and you're happy with Windows 10 and you don't want your old Windows to revert to, even though reverting almost never works, no matter what, really not worth it. Oh, wow. 3.99 terabytes of Windows Update cleanup. Yeah, something tells me that's actually have a total of terabytes in the system. But, okay. And that's basically it. So I'm just selecting everything. I'm selecting delete and go. Of course, you can wean through that list and choose whatever you want. Now, when it comes to after you have done this initially, or if this is not applicable to you, the program that I recommend instead is called C Cleaner, or some people call it Crap Cleaner, because that's what apparently the C stands for. Sorry, hold on. I have it in here somewhere. Tools. There it is, C Cleaner. So C Cleaner, it's a really basic. This is an old version, but it's all the same shit really. It hasn't changed much. It should open it. I'm just gonna show you where it's by Puriform. I believe is the Puriform. So, C Cleaner, it's free. Download it. Very simple. I'm gonna get it again, just because for whatever reason it seemed like that version didn't open. Might as well install it. Why not? So, I always remember to always customize your installs. Never do Express. Just make sure it's doing everything you want it to do. I'm fine with all this. It'll install. It'll be fast. And view those release notes if you're dumb. And here we go. So this is what it does. It's basically this tool, but it's better. I think it does a better job at cleaning stuff. Still not perfect, but pretty good. It also gives you the ability to clear out old registry values that are unlinked, which I highly recommend doing. Because clogging up your registry does nothing but increases indexing time and stuff like that. Well, not indexing so much, but anyway. It also will do this registry. So as you can see, all these .NET framework and all these unused extensions and blah, 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 blah. So getting rid of any of this shit, you should always take a look and make sure that none of it seems important. But run multiple scans of your registry after you've cleared it the first time. When you get rid of some of these extensions or associations and ActiveXCOM stuff and missing DLLs and all that shit, when you start to get rid of those, they have other things that they are linked to. And when you get rid of some, it unlinks those other things, and then it realizes, oh, those things are useless too. They don't fit in anywhere once you get rid of some of the other ones. So run this a few times. Once it comes up clean, you're good. So run this. Good. Now, what about if you got a computer that's like, either it's, you know, say a grandparent's computer, or your kids use it, or it's a laptop and you just bought it from a store and it came with all this software you don't want. That's where this next piece of software comes in. It's called PC Decrapifier. I never spelled that right. Sorry. PC Decrapifier. So the PC Decrapifier, as the slogan says, it's like TP for your PC. So you download it. It basically will go and scan through your system, similar to CCleaner does. And it will basically tell you what in your PC is crap and what you should get rid of. Yeah, so PC Decrapifier is probably going to take a while. I have a lot of stuff on that 2 terabyte, and most of it is not crap. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, I am clean. But, actually, yeah, I'm very clean. I have no questionable or recommended things to remove. And, you know, here's all the shit I do have. All good stuff. Get removed. But that's how you would do it. It would show up in a list like this. And, yeah. Alright, so you've gotten your PC clean. And, you know how to maintain, basically, keeping the files, the junk files off of it and stuff. But what about when it comes to the actual hardware maintenance? So, I mentioned earlier that in the last video that Windows 10 doesn't have native SSD support when it comes to, say, trim or other features. What did I mean by that specifically? Well, I mean that there's this program that has been on Windows since, I don't know, but at least XP. Where a majority of my hours remain. Yeah, disk defrag. So what you want to do is run a disk defrag. Now, disclaimer, defrags are for mechanical disks. So disks, platter disks, old hard drives, not solid states. Solid state drives, and as you can see here, they're denoted solid state, hard disk, solid state. Hard disk drives get defragged. Solid states get trimmed, or in Windows calls it optimized, but it's effectively it's trimming. So as you can see, Windows 10 and I believe Windows 8 and above does the distinction and can be run seamlessly on SSDs or mechanical disks. It is safe for both. However, this utility on Windows 7 and below does not support SSDs. So what it will do instead is defrag an SSD. Now, fragmenting on a hard drive, so on a spinning disk, there are files scratched into the, well, not scratched, but magnetically encoded into the disk using a needle. And where it is on the disk helps determine load times. So, for example, let's say the top of my balding head here is the platter. It's a circle. So, if I install the program, and part of the files for that program are here, but other parts of the program are back here, then the disk has to spin, and the needle has to move to be able to get to those other files back here. However, if instead I move those files from back here on the platter and move it up here with these files and put them all in a row, then the needle just has to go across this row, and then the program loads a little faster. So that's what defragging is all about. It's all about trying to physically move the files and reassign them close together so that load times improve. The defrags, see, as you can see, oh, okay, it's running it, so it's defragging it right now. Unfortunately, I didn't run a test on it to see how fragmented it was. Whoops. But maybe you guys caught it in the video. Anyway, the point is that's what it does. Now, that works great on a mechanical disk because there's a physical platter. However, on a solid-state drive, there are no platters. They're just individual memory chips. So moving the files together actually does nothing, except for waste read-write cycles. So all it's going to do is basically read your drive, have no idea what it's looking at, decide everything's fragmented, push it all together, and basically unnecessarily do a bunch of read-writes and deletes on your disk, your hard disk, or sorry, your solid-state drive, my mistake. And that will basically shorten the lifespan of it significantly because you've just done a whole bunch of operations on it needlessly. Whole bunch of transfers. And solid states do have a limited amount of transfers before they eventually fail. So basically, you're just killing the disk. Now, will it die if you did it once? Will it die if you did it 5 times? Will it die if you did it 10 times? No. Is it going to die if you do it 100 times? Probably not. But if you do it as regular maintenance on your drive, in Windows 7, you are doing nothing to help it, and you are hurting it. So instead, you need to run a piece of trim software. Now, like I said, anything 8+, you're covered. The disk defrag utility in that version of Windows will cover you. Windows 7, you'll have to go get one of the other pieces of software. But I did want to point out in this video, this is how you do it with Windows, because I didn't mention it last time. Alright, so with that out of the way, now, people are probably going to be wondering, okay, so I got my PC cleaned up, I got my cleaning utilities for when I am done, or rather for down the road with the PC. What about securing the PC right here and now? So when it comes to securing the PC right here and now against attack, viruses, whatever, this is all you need. Windows Defender is all you need. Windows Defender is going to do as good a job, if not better, than any other piece of paid software, or especially any piece of free software you get. It is going to be one of the lightest antiviruses you can have. Now, I know a lot of people are going to instantly cringe at the fact that I am recommending Windows Defender. And all I have to say to you people is, you're doing it wrong. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your application is. Antivirus is not something that can be done effectively on the system level. Antivirus is something that needs to be done on a network level to be effective. So if you are going to rely on system level antivirus, you are going to need to be doing it as efficiently as possible. And believe it or not, Windows actually does take a slight bit of effort to keep the definitions for this slightly up to date. And they do have some incentive to over free antivirus companies. They have much more incentive to do a good job at this, and I think that they do. Windows Defender tends to be pretty on point with most common viruses. That being said, if you're going to try, we're not going to cover how to install a network-based antivirus solution. It's too complicated for home users. You're not going to be able to do it. Don't bother. Unless you're really interested in this sort of thing, in which case then I very much encourage you to look it up. But it's going to be a bit of a trial, and you're going to need some equipment. But all that aside, what can you do then? If Windows Defender is it, and you still get viruses all the time, how do I change that behavior? How do I stop myself from getting viruses? Well, it's because the magic these days is not in securing your system with a piece of software. It's by securing your system by not even encountering the virus-producing material to begin with. So to cut out that material, you're going to need to use a third-party web browser and install some extensions. So do not... I mean, Microsoft Edge now has plugin support, but don't use Edge, don't use Internet Explorer, use Chrome or Firefox. As far as which is better, that's totally personal preference. Some days I feel like Chrome is better, other days I feel like Firefox is better. Pick whatever you want. They're both fine choices. So what you're going to need to do, if you're going to be serious about the security of your system, is get some plugins, extensions for your web browser. This is the most effective way of stopping yourself from getting viruses that you can possibly get. All you really need here, 3 things. You need an ad blocker. There are many available. I'm not going to say which is better than which, because everybody's going to go fucking nuts. I use AdGuard. I think it's good. I've just stuck with it, but use whatever. I like AdGuard. Get AdGuard if you like AdGuard. If you don't like AdGuard, get another one. There's fucking a million of them. But get an ad blocker, because the first most likely place you're going to get a virus is by clicking an ad for a download link that you thought was a download link, because you don't know the difference, because you don't understand that people are trying to trick you on the internet with ads. So to stop malicious ads, don't see ads. Unfortunately, I wish there was a better way of doing this, because using an ad blocker on sites like YouTube, Twitch, or other private forums and individually hosted websites can severely impact the revenue that those websites try to obtain through advertising. And if you use it 24/7, especially on YouTubers and Twitch pages, you will be shooting those people in the dick. But when it comes to the safety and privacy of your computer, you gotta make some trades. So with that being said, I have a few other plugins here, excuse me, that are also beneficial for privacy and also for a slight bit of protection. So we've got Ghostery. This is mostly for privacy. It blocks trackers. It's semi-effective. I wouldn't say it's great, but it tries. Track Me Not, again, is strictly for privacy. Like it says, it's mostly about tracking images. So some marketing teams have been putting in malicious code into images to track you from site to site. This is supposed to stop that. I don't know how well it works because it's impossible to tell when you're looking at a marketing images or an image with some of this malicious marketing code or whether or not you're looking at a regular image. I assume it works. Track Me Not. Track Me Not. There's two types. Frankly, I just don't know which extension is doing what. I think one is supposed to be for search term randomization, and the other actually does this image thing, but don't quote me. I don't particularly like to use Chrome. I actually do prefer to use my Firefox. I'm going to show you some of the plugins I have in Firefox, because Firefox is a little better at the internet security and virus safety thing. So as you can see, we still got AdGuard. We also have Disconnect. Now this is, again, this is a search term randomizer. So what this does is, for every real search I do, let's say I search something like how to make a bomb. Let's say I search how to make a bomb because I'm really radicalized or something. Well, as I'm searching how to make a bomb, it's also searching puppy and kitty and a whole bunch of other things along with it to help randomize within my actual search a whole bunch of other shit. So if I had any other trackers, or if I had anybody who's trying to advertise to me, this is gonna fuck their day up. Because they're gonna say, well, this guy was looking at, you know, we want to sell this guy something, so he was trying to look up how to make a bomb, so we want to sell him some bomb supplies. But he was also looking up cats, and he was also looking up dogs, and he was also looking up all these things, so what do we send to him? It's like, well, we don't really know which ad to send to him. Let's send him one for dogs. It's like, yep, gotcha. I was looking for bomb parts, not for dogs. But nice try. So that's what that does. HTTPS everywhere. So this is a very good plugin. What this does is it basically applies a security layer to most sites and tries to do it on every site it can. It's not successful on every site, but it basically tries to encrypt some of the data communication between your computer and the website using HTTPS. So most websites that are worth going to will have some form of HTTPS encryption already, but you know, independent websites may not, and this is a good way of just kind of sticking it on top. It's not going to protect you from the host of the website or anybody who has local access to your computer, but it will help anybody who's trying to sort of do a man-in-the-middle attack, potentially. And a man-in-the-middle attack is basically where there's someone in the middle of your connection between point A and point B. You can imagine how that could happen. Someone hosting a public Wi-Fi network. It could be anything. But you get the idea. Self-destructing cookies. Now, this is one that I really wish Chrome had. Maybe it does, but at this point in time, I don't believe it does. Self-destructing cookies is simply, it just gets rid of shared cookies from your computer when you're done using them. It helps protect against trackers, what they call zombie cookies, shit like that. You don't really need to know the importance to understand what it does. So what it basically does is some websites have these things called cookies. Cookies can be useful. They can enable functions on websites, and they could be completely worthless. But most websites use cookies. And cookies can be used for tracking now. So part of what this does is when you are done with at the time of using a cookie, sometimes cookies are used for storing information as well. Things like website design preferences. So let's say a website has a choice between a light and a dark theme. Well, sometimes those websites will remember that in your cookies. What this does is it gets rid of cookies the moment you're done using them. Now, for some people, that's going to be inconvenient. You can whitelist sites with this. But for most people, what this does is very helpful because it pulls out, it helps save a little bit of space on your computer, and it also gets rid of another point of tracking. So the only thing I'd recommend is that you turn off notifications. I actually didn't, so it's a good thing I did this. turn off notifications. You don't need to know when it's doing what it's doing. You just need to know it's doing it. And it will definitely tell you every single time. Fucking annoying. And then I have track me not again. So that's it. So with these tools in your web browser, it's fairly easy to get. If you just search, you know, your web browser plus the word extensions, you will get a store for those extensions where you can get all of them. It's very simple, and it takes maybe about, to an unexperienced user, maybe an hour's worth of fiddling to clean your computer of all the unnecessary garbage it has, clean it of all the unnecessary system files it has, and protect it from re-getting those files in the future. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm having a hard time speaking today. Thank you for putting up for that with that. And geez, man, I can't even say an outro. And I don't know how to end videos. So goodbye.